Today I have a special guest. My friend Vanessa Brantley Newton is going to join me in a minute, which is very exciting and fun. If you this is your first time to draw with me, welcome. And this is basically an opportunity to just have fun and draw. It's not really a class. It's not necessarily even a demonstration. It's just an opportunity to have an appointment with yourself every Thursday at noon Eastern Standard Time to say, you know what, I'm going to sit down and draw for 30, 45 minutes and just enjoy myself. It's not about creating masterpieces, although you might create one. We'll see. But thank you all for joining me. There's all kinds of folks here, Lisa and Robert and Joshua and Chrissy and Thistle and on, Daisy and Goethe and Artie Dude and Diana and John Cromer. Hello all. Thank you again for being here with me today and with Vanessa. So Vanessa is a person who has been involved with Sketchbook Skool for several years. She is a fantastic illustrator. She is a great singer as well, but she's, I think, to me, most above all, is just an incredible person of integrity, wisdom, and genuine joy. So it is really fun to have her be part of our Sketchbook Skool family. And let me just get ready. Vanessa, are you ready to come on?
Yes, I am.
She is. All right, good. Hold on a second. Let me just make sure that I can. Okay, good. So without further ado, well, let me tell you a couple more things before I bring on Vanessa, just little housekeeping things. One is, if what you make today is something that you would like to share with me or with the other people in our extended universe, use this hashtag SBS Draw With Me. Just put that on whatever drawing you make on social media, Facebook, Instagram, or if you're a member of our schoolyard, we would love to see what you make there too. So that's that. One other thing, and this may sound a bit bizarre to you if you're new to it, you can text me. You can text me at 919-298-8117. Why on earth would you want to text me? Because if you do, I will send you drawings that I make. I will send you inspirational stuff I come across, things I recommend, and you can also text me back, and we can chat with each other. So write that number down, 919-298-8117. And one final thing, which is, I believe this is it? Yes. Okay, so, and the final thing I wanted to just encourage you to do is to sign up for Danny's List. Danny's List is a weekly email essay that I write. It's about creative issues. It's about things that are part of our lives as artists. And every Friday I send out an email thought essay, which people seem to like. Thousands of people get it every week, and you can get it too at sketchbookskool.com/Danny's-list. Go to there, sign up, and tomorrow I'll send you one. So make sure you have that in your repertoire. Okay? So that's enough stuff. Let's go on and see each other. Here we go. There's Vanessa. Hello.
Hey, Danny. So good to be here.
Yeah, it's so nice to have you here too. Let me just pop on as well. Good. So Vanessa, how are you doing? How's your Thursday so far?
My Thursday has been interesting, but it's been good.
Yeah.
It's been really, really good. Yes.
That's excellent. Good. So, and how are you in general? I mean, you, like the rest of us, are experiencing the wonders of the pandemic. How are you doing? Slide over a little bit, if you wouldn't mind. If you wouldn't, you're just getting cut off a little bit off screen, Vanessa. Or maybe that's my fault. Let me make my other direction actually. Let me make myself smaller actually. And therefore, okay, that's good. Now we can see more of you and less of me. Good. So tell me how the last 6 months been for you. I'm sure challenging like they have been for the rest of us.
They have been definitely challenging. To say challenging is really an interesting word. It's frustrating. It's been depressing. It has been emotionally draining. to say the very least, discouraging in a lot of ways. And I've had to find
I'm sorry, what?
other,
Carry on. Yeah.
and I've had to find other kind of deal with it, you know, besides food, you know.
Why? What's wrong with
So,
eating huge amounts of food all the time like I do?
yeah, well, you can't
It's not
food
healthy.
everything,
You
you
can't
know.
food everything.
So it's just trying to find my way around different things and trying to reframe it and making art is the
Making
way that
art.
that's how I get through it.
So, I mean, I've heard from some people that during the pandemic they just have lost their mojo. They've lost their ability to make art. They just don't see the point. But you haven't had that feeling. You haven't had that reaction.
Um, I was working on a children's book, and it's actually a book that I wrote called "Becoming Vanessa" with Random House and Penguin Books, and um, there were days when literally I could not pick up my pen to do anything, and I was painting this book. This was not a book that I did on the computer. This was a collage book, uh, all the work in real time, and I painted the papers and made my own collage papers and had to find different things to put in. And so, uh, just trying to, like I said, trying to keep it filled with joy and love and inspiration was hard. It was very, very hard. In lieu of what was happening with George Floyd, just because African Americans of all things that we here in America was just overwhelming,
I'll bet.
just overwhelming, and so hard to paint. Just really, as artists, there are days when you just don't feel like putting paint anywhere. You don't feel like drawing. You just don't feel like making a mark.
I remember talking to you a few months ago, and at the time you were just like making papers. You were just like painting background stuff. You couldn't bring yourself to go much beyond that. I mean, I guess you made a bunch of paper that you could then use for your collages once you fell up to it. But exactly. But you did stay busy, I guess. So I guess that's something.
Yeah, yeah, that was a thing. When I would get depressed or when I would feel sad, color can be such a therapeutic thing for people,
Right.
really. And slapping paint instead of just trying to paint a picture, sometimes just slapping paint onto something, paper, and just getting that energy out of you, that negative energy out of you, can be a very positive thing, can be a very powerful thing, can be a very cleansing thing. And
Right.
so it was for me, definitely doing that.
Right. Okay. So, Vanessa, I'm getting some people are asking if we can increase your audio. I'm not sure how to do that. I've turned up as much as possible, but maybe if you just inch a little bit closer to the computer, but it'll be fine. Okay. So you are in South Carolina, right? What
I'm in Charlotte,
there's no
Charlotte, North Carolina. Yeah.
super her audio. Just tell me.
So your ambient sound is drowning her out.
My ambient sound is drowning her out. Okay.
But when she's talking, we can hear your ambient sound.
I see. Okay. Sorry. Is this the infernal technology stuff?
Yes.
Okay. So, yes, you're in North Carolina, of course. I'm sorry.
Yes, I'm in Charlotte. Yep.
I know. Um, one of the fun things about doing this thing is we get to juggle lots of different balls while trying to make this show. So, please be patient with us here as we move along. Okay. So Vanessa, one of the things that we talked about that we're going to do today is we are going to do some drawing together. And we'll continue our conversation as we draw, shall we? Because it's always fun to do that. And we will talk about whatever, but we're going to draw hairstyles. And hairstyle was your idea. So tell me why you thought of hairstyles as a thing that we should draw.
This is so interesting, Danny, because I'm hearing more people say, "Oh, I can't get out to the beauty parlor to get my hair done. I can't go to the barber shop." And it has really put us at odds with, growing hair or dealing with, our bald heads that need to be shaved or whatever. And as you all can see, I shaved my head completely the day I found out about COVID and how it was spread and all kinds of stuff. I was like, you know what? I'm not going anywhere. I'm just going to shave my head, and I completely shaved my head. I mean, with a clipper, and then took my husband's shave razor and shaved it completely bald, no hair. And then it started growing back, and it was painful, very painful.
I
But
can't imagine what that's like. See, I'm used to having long flowing locks, and I would never shave my head. But yes, I hear what you're saying.
it was for me, and it's not for everybody. I understand that everybody can't do this. For me, it hair is an accessory,
Right.
and especially after I lost my hair, I had alopecia,
Oh.
and I lost my hair, and so once I did, I just like, let's just go with it. Let's just shave it all off, and I got so many compliments,
Well,
so many.
you do look striking always, and you
Thank
usually
you.
have a mohawk, so that's
Yes,
also striking. But
yes.
and you often wear like sort of turbans and things like that are also really cool. So all right, so
Exactly.
here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna start drawing hairstyles. We can draw any hairstyle we want to. That's gonna be
Yes.
one of the fun things we're gonna do. But you and I are both gonna draw on the computer just because for sharing here today, it's going to be easier. You're going to draw on your laptop, on your actual, you're using Corel Paint, right? You're going to draw
Yes.
on your computer. I'm going to draw on my iPad. You guys out there can draw on whatever you want. But we're going to try and draw a bunch of different hairstyles, right? So if you want to, you could draw a bunch of heads and then put hairstyles on them. But let's figure it out as we go.
Uh-huh.
And so, okay, so while we're waiting for you, I'm just going to draw a head that's
Yes.
waiting for hair. So so everybody else, you might want to just start getting ready by making yourself a head.
Love it.
Get a head, and I'm using Procreate because I'm sure you're going to wonder about that. And there's, oops.
I love it.
So
Just hair is so interesting to me, Danny. How people comb their hair, or what people do to their hair, what color they're gonna do their hair in, what style. All those things are so interesting to me, and that's why I wanted to do this.
yeah, because your hair really changes how you appear. I mean, it can change your personality just by,
Absolutely.
and certainly coloring it, cutting it. It can appear to say a lot about you. It doesn't necessarily actually say a lot about you, but it can appear to.
It can definitely appear to. I mean, for me, it's so funny when I wear my mohawk. I literally get stopped so many times in the airport. It is hilarious. Oh my goodness, they look at me like, wow, that's a mohawk. I mean, it's a high mohawk. It's not spiky or anything like that, but it's a big old wave. There's definitely a wave. You can't miss me.
Well, so Vanessa, worst comes to worst. If you can't do this, do you want to just like draw something and hold it up just in case?
Absolutely.
Just in case we end up like with tech problems that we can't deal with.
Yes,
So
and that's the wonderful thing. Tech problems don't win, y'all. It
right,
doesn't win.
exactly. So just in case Vanessa doesn't work, so yeah, we can start drawing, and then worst comes to worst,
Yeah,
you
sure.
will hold up something. So all right, so um, I'm going to draw different hairstyles on this one creature, and we'll see how it works out. So something like this that is immediately makes the person look not terribly intelligent, but but sort of like the Dumb and Dumber kind of hairstyle. But I'm just going to give him different hairstyles and see how it works. So this is sort of more of a goth kind of look.
I like goth hair. It's cool to me. I love it.
Yeah. I'm gonna actually give this guy like a kind of more of like a mullet actually. There we go. That's nice.
Uh,
Um,
I remember those back in the day, man. I definitely remember those.
yeah. Party in the front. What is it? Business in the front, party in the back.
Yes,
That's
right.
me.
Yes, Danny. Oh my goodness. So
Um,
true.
all right. So, or then here's give him. I'll give him the Vanessa or her. I guess it's a her, a person. It's a them. A bit of a widow's peak. Now, if you wanted to, you could also approach this if you don't have an iPad and you want to just, just draw a bunch of heads. Maybe I'll do that to make it easier.
That's
So,
a that's a definitely great way to do it.
yeah, so maybe I'll just do it that way. Um, so I'm gonna start a new. I'm gonna get rid of this guy. I'm gonna start a new one. So for those of you playing along at home, just whoops, let's just draw some heads. Let's just draw a bunch of heads. Oops.
And I'm going to try to share my screen now.
Oh my gosh, it's gonna work. Okay, cool. Let's see.
And I love these heads, Danny. Awesome.
All right, so let's just draw ourselves a bunch of heads.
Yeah. So, can you see the screen?
Yes, I can.
Okay. Cool.
Great. Can you make it full screen like we did before, remember?
Okay,
So we
let's
don't.
see if I can do that. Let's see. Okay. Okay.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay.
Okay, now Painter wants to come back on too. Painter, we don't need you. You didn't do right by us.
Are you doing Photoshop now? Yeah, so I'm going to start. I'm going to take
Photoshop.
one of my many people and I'm going to give him some eyes, a nose, a mouth. And let's get some hair going.
I'm just doing the same.
I'm thinking I'm going to give her sort of a like a flip hairstyle.
Awesome. Things happen, and things happen to our hair.
That's true.
One of the most interesting things that happened to me. I am African American, but I have Asian background as well. My mom, her father was uh, Cambodian and Japanese,
No kidding.
and yeah. And so when it came to my hair took on more of an Asian feel, but it was very thin, but it still had a kinkiness to it. And so it was very weird trying to get my hair done because they didn't know what to do with it. I didn't know what to do with it either. So it was not good. It was not good. And you hear most of my Asian family constantly talk about how they can't get a curl in their hair. I mean, now you have perms and things like that, but it damages the hair so badly. And
Right.
so I went and had a perm. Wrong thing to do. That's how I ended up with alopecia.
Oh my God, really?
Yeah, yeah.
What, the chemicals just like burnt your scalp, basically?
Chemicals burnt my scalp, messed up the texture of the hair. It was just like I said, a weird texture of hair, and I don't even want to say weird. It was strange. It was strange, and I didn't need to put chemicals in it, but I put chemicals in it to kind of get it to do what I needed it to do, and it didn't work. I should have just left it the way that it was. So, but here I am doing a little bit of a little afro here,
That looks elegant, yes.
but I think I'm going to take it to the next level and put a big braid here, and maybe we'll go on the front. Okay, she can see she's got a little Rapunzel situation going on here.
Now, a lot of what you do when you come up when you're doing children's books and stuff like that is the characters, creating characters.
Yes.
I imagine coming up with a hairstyle is a lot of defining that character, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, those are very, very interesting things to do, is to come up with hairdos for children. And because I've been around so many children, hairdos are not something hard for me to come up with. They're very, very easy for me to come up with because I watch them, you know. And so I really encourage artists to watch your subjects, watch the people that you want to draw and put in your sketchbooks. Um, we can be very uh, discreet about it. We don't have to let everybody know that we're drawing them, but I collect children and I put them in my
Be careful who you
sketch.
say that to.
I know, right? But I put them in my sketchbook and I just watch them. I watch them, you know. So they give me inspiration and I'm inspired by them. And um, I love the little wild hairdos and I love the children who have blue hair now and, you know, a streak here, a streak there, or whatever, or big fluffy cornrows. That's my thing. I love that.
Big
Absolutely.
big fat ones like
Big fat ones, yes.
right, right.
I love plaits in little girls' hair. So, um, you know, however I plan to work with it, but even boys with long ponytails and locks, or men with man buns and stuff like that. I love putting that in my children's books. So,
Yeah, and also stuff that you put into your hair too, like
absolutely.
barrettes and hair bands.
Barrettes and hairdos, exactly. And this is what I'm going to do with this one right now. I'm actually going to um, maybe put some little ties in here to kind of give it some color. I loved doing my daughter's hair, Zoe's hair, and filling it up with bows, and she couldn't stand it.
Pulling it
She,
really tight. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah. Well, you know, she was blessed. She didn't get the hair abuse that I got.
Because
So,
I once did a thing in my sketchbook where I drew every hairstyle I've ever had, starting with basically
hmm hmm
that hairstyle that I had when I was born,
yeah.
all the way to like bad, like hate, sort of high school hairdos, 80s kind of new romantic hairstyles. Um, I had like an asymmetrical haircut at one point.
Really, you did?
Oh
Oh my
yeah, that was the 80s.
I have to see these pictures. I have to see these pictures. I got to see that. Danny with an asymmetrical hair.
Oh yeah, yeah, like
That that must have been really hot.
those are the days. Those are the days. And then you'd also have, yeah, and also in those days, like I used to blow dry my hair, which was like a thing that everybody did in those days too. You know,
Oh, wow.
remember Saturday Night Fever when he's like, "Don't touch the hair, Ma. Don't touch the
Yes,
hair." Yeah, it's like that.
yes. Oh
That
my
was.
goodness. Wow. What's the best hairdo you've ever had that you loved?
You're looking at it. No,
Oh, I love it.
it's not true though. But yeah, I'll say that just to be, to own it. Um, yeah, I mean, it used to, in looking back at it, it looks kind of ridiculous, but at the time, those kinds of hairstyles were a lot of
Oh,
fun.
they were fun. I mean, oh my goodness. As an African American woman, we do all kinds of things. We do weaves, and now I'm finding that it's not just African American women who are doing weaves. Um, you know, um, Men are getting hair transplants and
Yeah,
whatever
that's true.
they need, and women are doing the same, to look good. Hair can make us feel so much better about ourselves. Everybody can't go around with the hairdo that I have, but I'm finding a lot more women, black and white, and across the board, are opting to do this kind of hairdo. So it's basically what makes you feel good.
It's true. I remember my first wife, Patty, had like a, it was like a clip-on ponytail,
Yeah.
and it was really long. It was like almost down to her waist, and she would put that on sometimes, and it was the same color as her hair. I also remember my mother having like, was it called a fall?
Oh
Fall?
yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Right.
Absolutely. We lived in when I was a little girl. We lived in Newark, New Jersey, and it was around the time where Newark, New Jersey, had a lot of different singers and musicians that would come through. And my mother was a milliner, and so she made hats and different things like that for people. But I remember the first time I ever saw a man who was gay and uh, dressed like a woman. It
Like
was
a,
forgotten to see one. And my mother and him were very, very good friends. And his name was Tony. And Tony was about the most gorgeous woman I think I've ever seen in my whole entire life. He had big boobs. He had this extremely long braid that went down the side of his body. And he was famous in Newark for doing everybody's wig. So when James Brown came in, James Brown, didn't wear wigs, but when James Brown needed something as an accessory, he would design the accessories for James Brown. Or he would do something for a singer like Shirley Caesar, a gospel singer who would come in, and different people, he would make these hairdos. And one day, my aunt came, who was a model, and she was going to be dressed as the Black Marie Antoinette. And I remember him doing this powdered wig for my aunt. That was the most amazing hairdo I have ever seen in my whole entire life. It was fantastic. It was fantastic. I loved it. So here's my little, hairdo,
wow.
and I'm gonna go ahead and do another one now.
I love that. I love those bands, and
Those
of
little
course,
bands on it,
yeah.
yeah, love it. And so I'm going to do another. And I very rarely work in Photoshop, people. I usually work in Corel or either on the iPad on Procreate, which I love. I love Procreate. How do you like it, Danny?
I love it so much. Some of you may have seen the things that I have behind me on the wall because I finally figured out how to print from Procreate onto my really pretty inexpensive printer. I think my printer's like maybe $100, $150. Printers are so cheap now. Of course, they charge you for the ink, but um, I found that I can do a full bleed printout. So it becomes, it goes to the edges of the paper and it looks really, really good. I think the quality, for a long time, I hesitated to print from my iPad because I thought it looks so good when you're looking at a sheet of glass with light coming through it. So the colors are really bright because they're basically light. But then I found that when I started doing these prints, it was fine. It was good. It was good.
Awesome.
But you're doing them for your books probably when you're working on the computer, right? So it's for
Yeah,
reproduction.
yeah. Um, I'm getting ready to do a new book now called Shake It Off, and it is a book that basically, well, when I did my TED Talk, I shared in the opener of the TED Talk about a little goat that had a lot of problems.
I love the way you
They,
put that, but
oh,
yes, I remember that.
yeah, right. So some of you probably have seen it and heard it, but they asked me to do a book on it, and so I'm going to do that whole book on my iPad.
Oh,
And so I'm really looking forward to it. Use a lot of Lisa Bardot brushes,
yeah, me too.
and Lisa and I are actually going to be doing something together.
Really?
Um, yeah, for
Tell her how much I love her brushes, and
I most certainly will.
yeah, I'm buying them all the time. And this one that I'm using right now is one of hers, which is like, look, I mean, look at the range that you get from this brush is so
You
great.
get such range. I love Lisa's work. Lisa's brushes are amazing.
Yeah,
And
and
so
she teaches great demos. You can see, I mean, great little lessons you can see on YouTube also. Lisa Bardot, like Bridget.
yeah, she's an amazing friend and an amazing artist. I love her.
We should get her to Sketchbook School. Tell her, ask her if she wants to do something with us.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's great.
So we're gonna go for blue hair on this one, and it's gonna be in a wave. Yep, I certainly will ask her that because I know she would love to do that. She is just, a fun person to be around, honestly. So, and you know what I like to do sometimes too when I'm doing hair is to kind of fill in the shape. But I like marks. So some people go, why don't you just hit uh, fill and go ahead and fill it in? But I like marks.
Right. The organic tech. I mean, you can also, I'm sure, do great ones with the collage techniques that you use, right? So you
Oh,
could fill in that shape.
collage hair is the best. It really is. Because I can do it with anything I find. I can go to magazine and get a magazine and cut out hair from a magazine, or do it with flowers or whatever, grass if I wanted to. And so I love that. I love playing with that.
I'm gonna do that actually. I'm gonna do that here because I have a huge folder of textures
Oh yeah.
because I'm too lazy to do what you do. So I just go everywhere I go and I take pictures. So instead of making my own, I just take pictures of stuff that I think is cool. Like this is a picture of this is some shagadelic,
All right.
and then
Yep.
I can then use it as a clipping mask, and boom, now my hair is there. My hair is there, and then you can just erase the parts that you don't want to have as hair. Do you use the iPad in this way that I'm doing it now?
Yes,
You do,
absolutely.
yeah.
Yes. Yes. There's so much I'm still learning about the iPad and um
Well, I have a course you could take. It's called Be an iPad Artist. It's at Sketchbook School.
and yes, and I do need to take that. I do. I have so many courses at Sketchbook School, and I have to tell you, I enjoy Sketchbook School. I really, really, really do. When I'm just needing one of those days off where I just want to learn something, and that's the beauty of it, is learning other things. This is what keeps you sharp and keeps you ready for jobs or just filling your notebook. Is to constantly keep learning. I don't believe in being stagnant as far as concerned. We got to stretch out and try other things.
I think that's absolutely true. I think you can get stagnant, as you say.
Yep.
You can also get locked into a style. I think as an illustrator, so often clients want a certain thing from you. I'm sure you experience this all the time. And then you're like, but I don't really want to do it that way just because I drew that way once. Or, I used to draw that way, but I don't draw that way anymore because now I like to draw in some other medium.
It's so true. And I have more students that tell me, "Oh, how do you develop your style? You got to try other things. You got to try different things." I'll be 60 soon. I'll be
Wait,
60.
come on.
Uh,
Really?
no, I'll be 60 soon. And I was asked, "How do you stay fresh?" And I'm always looking at different artists. I'm always looking at other ways to do art traditionally and digitally, playing with anything and everything. And I think that's what keeps me fresh, is that I'm not just tied to one thing. And I think when you do tie yourself down that way, you better be really, really, really good and doing something so fantastic that nobody else can copy you, or you gotta be open and try other things. You gotta. So,
It's also that's what makes it interesting. I mean,
yeah,
I think if you just have a way of doing it, then it just be. I mean, I've reached that point at various times in my drawing life where I'm like, I just don't even want to do it anymore. It's just it's more the same, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So for me, it's especially for getting other art supplies. That's one reason why I try to do other things. I have sketchbooks just filled up with Posca pens. They're my favorite. I love to use them all the time. Then after using the Posca pen, there are something called Stabilo pencils, which are watercolor pencils, but you can use them as crayons as well. And I love using those as well. So I guess I'm always trying something different.
No, that's so important, and makes it. It's just an ongoing adventure. It's always fun.
And I'm just really loosely doing this hair here. I don't really want to make it perfect, but kind of messy. And trying I will say too, especially if you're working on an iPad, sometimes the work can look so digital, and the only way you can really break that up is to use pencils that have texture to them. Brushes that have texture will help out a great deal.
Or introducing organic textures too.
Yeah, definitely. Okay.
What is your new book about?
Yeah, so the new book that I'm doing called Becoming Vanessa, that I just had to mail out the day before yesterday to China, because nobody's in the publishing houses. Nobody's there.
Really?
So I had to mail it out, and it is a story I was sharing with Danny. When I was a little girl, I remember one of my teachers telling me that my name was too big for me. And it was not nice. It was not a nice thing to be said, but um, I remember going home and telling my mom and dad, "Why'd you name me Vanessa? All the names you could have named me." Now I love butterflies, and so I wanted butterflies on everything. When I saw butterflies outside, I wanted to play with them and everything. And uh, butterflies was just my thing in school. And I remember um, getting paper from my teacher and taking paint and throwing it in the middle of the page, and then smashing it all together and folding up the page, and then open it and go instant butterfly, and kind of, oh, this kid right here, she's a piece of work. And I remember going home and crying to my mother and father, and I don't know why you named me Vanessa, why you named me Amy or Mary or Sue, or anything that was short that I could spell really quickly, because I'm dyslexic. And so I remember my mother grabbing my face and looking me in the face and said, "You know why we named you Vanessa? Vanessa means butterfly."
Mm.
I was like, "Oh my goodness, my name means butterfly. That's what it means in Greek." And it changed everything for me. And even studying even more about my name, finding out that my name meant metamorphosis, and how I've changed, and not changed, how I've transformed. Change implies you can go back and you can make it back, what it was before. But transformation is something that you can never go back to that. It's different. It's altogether different. And so it's a good thing. It's a good thing. I embrace my name now. And when I hear little girls who tell me my name is Vanessa, I love sharing that with them. So I can't wait till this book comes out.
That's such a great idea.
Yeah.
Empowering.
Yes. Yes. And so here I did she's probably a mermaid. I'm not sure. She has blue lips and
I like the expression on her face too.
blue expressions. Uh,
I mean, do you find that like you sometimes when you're drawing that you are making up a person and then that person is almost like has been born, like
absolutely,
has a life now. Yeah.
absolutely. I think it's very funny, but I was sharing with some students that I talk to my characters and my characters talk back to me, and they're like, "Huh?" I'm like, "Yeah, I talk to my characters all the time. My characters talk to me and tell me what they want to wear, how they want their hair done, whether they want freckles, what color eyes they want, and I go with it. I,
Mm.
I go with it, and I let them tell me what their story is, and that's how I come up with my stories. So I have another book that's getting ready to come out, um, and this one is very near and dear to me because the character and how the character started talking to me. My father was a sharecropper, and there were times when he couldn't go to school, and he would tell me about how, as a kid, it was important that on the farm they kept seed in the farm or in the shed, and the seed was there just in case the harvest did not come through properly. And it was important that they had the seed, and even if they were hungry, they could eat this. And I just thought that was so very, very interesting. And so I began to think about this character that I wanted to do, and this little girl. And so this is how the story goes. The little girl is watching her brothers and her father and mother and grandmother outside harvest time, and they're collecting the harvest, and it's been very, very good. And she's excited about it, and she goes outside and picks up some of the seed that's left over from the harvest. And her father tells her, we have to collect the seed and put some of the seed away for the next harvest. So, for the next planting, basically. And so they give her a little bit of the seed, and she decides she's going to make a seed doll. So she makes this doll and fills it with the seed. Well, the next harvest comes, and uh, it is rained out completely, and they only have enough for food, and they don't have anything to sell. So basically, they've fallen on hard times.
Hmm.
And the little girl reminds her father, "Don't we have seed uh, in the shed you to plant again and everything, and or eat rather?" And her father shares with her, "No, baby, we can't use that." And she waits for the fact that they don't have anything to, and she leaves the seed for her doll. She leaves a seed for her family
Hmm.
on the table. And they then again have, well, first of all, you want to know what happens. The seed actually gets stolen, and so they don't have anything. And so that's why she leaves the seed on the table for her doll. And they basically take that seed and they replant. And she even has her play in it where she actually goes outside and she helps them to plant. Now, what's interesting is this is a story where children get to find out that even as small as they are, they too can do great things. They
Mm.
can do great things. And so they get this harvest. The harvest comes in. They're so excited. They tell her, "We're going to take you and buy you another doll." They take her to the city. She buys this doll. It's a porcelain doll. it doesn't feel like her other doll. And so she makes again another seed doll. And so that's the story. So I'm looking forward to this one coming out, not this year, but the following year, next year.
That's such a great story. So are you basically, are you writing all your own stories now? You're not illustrating
I'm
other
writing
people's
and
stories?
illustrating my own books now. Yep.
That's so good.
Yep.
You have so many stories. You've had such an
That's
interesting
right.
life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
So I
think,
am finished with she. I think she is finished.
well, good. Well, I think we can wrap it up just
Okay.
because I have to go and get a haircut.
Well, good luck with your haircut. It was so awesome being here with everyone. Just awesome.
Can you unshare now for a second?
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Vanessa, your sound was cutting out one time, but at one point, but um, I think we are. Yeah, you're still sharing your screen, I think.
Okay, and I
There we
can
go. There
stop.
you are. There you're back. And let me unshare my thing. There you are. And there we are. Okay, good. We're both back. So, yeah, that was really fun.
It was fun.
I I found that after a while, I really wasn't making any decisions, and things were just kind of happening.
Yeah,
Like people were appearing, and they were having haircuts and hairstyles, and it was just sort of like, whoa, okay, that was.
it's fantastic. It's so much fun.
It really is. It really is. Well, Vanessa, I look forward to seeing your book when it comes back from China. Hopefully that'll be
Yes,
soon.
looking forward to you having
And
it.
I know you have a lot of other exciting things on the horizon that we can't talk about yet, but hopefully we will know soon. And we will always come back and
Yeah.
say, remember Vanessa Brantley Newton was on Draw with me and they did hairstyles? And everybody will say like, what? No way. It's true. It's true. Well, it's lovely to see you. It's really fun to draw with
So,
you. We have to do it again some more.
yes,
Maybe we'll do it.
definitely.
Yes, and we'll think of some other things. And meanwhile, send me your two images because I'm going to share them, or you can put them up on the schoolyard. And I'll put up my. I created a dozen. I have a dozen hairstyles that I made, so I'll take them to my barber and see what he can do with them.
Awesome. Danny, it was
Okay.
so good being here with all of you. Have a good one.
Thank you so much, Vanessa.
You're
Okay.
welcome. See
Bye,
you
everybody.